Welcome, everyone, to Harden Life Live. We are the Hardens, and we actually are a family of coaches and counselors. And we love taking 10 minutes with you every week with the hope of giving you some tips to live your best life from both a biblical and a therapeutic perspective. And we've been looking at relationships this month, and hon, you're actually finishing us out. And I loved your topic, hungry for connection. And there is no doubt we have been such on a starvation diet for the last 2 years for real connection that I cannot think of a better topic. And yet, the irony of that, as hungry as I believe we all are because we've been in isolation, we also, because I think it was surrounded by fear of others, because of disease spreading things, we really got conflicted. It's like, I want to be close to you, but I'm afraid. And so now, trying to come out of it, I think this hunger for connection is really being exasperated.
Well, there's no doubt that through the last couple of years with COVID and the pandemic and all that, anxiety has risen, and isolation has increased. And so it has created a hunger. I mean, we're naturally hungry for connection under the best of circumstances because that is the way God has designed us. Life is relationship. And yet, because of the unique circumstances of the last couple of years, it's just increased that hunger, that real need, even more so.
It really has. And, I don't think any of us understood it to the depth until we didn't have it, how much we needed it.
Sure.
And it sort of has started to impact the fabric of our society. And I know you really place a lot of emphasis, which I loved, on the first area of connection shows up physically. And you use the eyes. Tell everybody more.
Well, in childhood development, the primary way, the initial way that a baby begins to feel loved, to feel safe, to feel secure, to be seen, known, understood, cared for, is through the eye contact of the caregiver. Mm-hmm. Obviously, that generally is the mother.
Mom. Right.
And then later on, the dad plays a more prominent role. But initially, it is that one-on-one connection with mama that helps the baby to feel alive. And then that never changes for the rest of our lives, at least in the sense of eye contact is needed. Not that we're looking to our mothers to supply that primary contact, but we are looking for eyes for the rest of our life.
Wow. That sort of makes sense to me because even in scripture, it talks about the eyes being a window to the soul. Well, the soul is where I really am. It's where I really live. And it's the sense of, I want people to see the real me because I need love and value in the core of who I am. And yet, there's nothing more empty when you look into someone's eyes and you don't see anything back. It's like you can tell you're just invisible to them. It's a very painful, disconnecting feeling when there is that lack of eye contact almost in any conversation.
Well, what I would say is never trust somebody that doesn't make eye contact with you. And I don't really need to say that in one sense because I think for the most part, we intuitively know that.
Yeah, that's true.
It's like, I don't trust somebody that's not going to look me in the eye. The first and foremost connection piece, even for couples, mm-hmm. Is to begin to make eye contact. And, we began our couples workshop, 2-day intensive, with having the couples go through an exercise to where they just sit kind of knee to knee, face to face, mm-hmm. and look into each other's eyes. And it's remarkable that the highly conflictual, distressed couples oftentimes cannot do that exercise.
It's painful for them. It's like really painful.
Well, it's a threat. It's scary.
It is because of the very thing. I don't know that I trust you to be able to see into me. It's like that might be too vulnerable. Well, so the catch is, okay, obviously we need that, and we're trying to restore. How can we get that? What are some steps
Well,
to
in the
moving in
blog,
that?
yeah, in the blog, like I give 5 steps, and I won't go through all 5 steps in this context because our time is short. But I would say two of the 5, in addition to the one we've just mentioned in terms of eye contact, is certainly you've got to build trust. And trust is primarily built in 3 ways.
Okay.
What I say is important, so words are important.
Okay.
What I do then backs up what I say. So my actions should be and needs to be consistent with what I'm saying. And then over time, as I'm practicing being consistent in what I say and what I do, over time, then trust is built. And when a couple is going through a broken trust, we have to start right at the fundamentals. What do you want to say? What are you going to do to back up what you're saying? And then we've got to give it some time.
Time always reveals is the bottom line, because I think that's what a lot of people get stuck because they either get stuck on the behaviors being consistent or the time, because they'll go, well, I told you I was sorry. Why don't you trust me?
Right.
And yet the reality is you don't get trust just because you apologize.
Right.
You get trust when you prove over time you are trustworthy.
Well, again, the old adage is trust is earned. It's not given.
It really is.
And so there's got to be enough evidence. And a lot of people can't consistently stay on track. They can't keep the ox out of the ditch, so to speak.
So we've got to start building trust.
So the final one of the 5 that I would just say is the home run. I mean, all of the 5 that I give in the blog are important, but the last one is the home run, and that's empathy. That when I can sit with somebody and they are opening themselves up, they are vulnerably open, which is part of an emotional connection, and they feel like that I really see them and I can understand from their perspective, there's a connection. What we typically say is nobody cares what you think until they think you care.
Yes.
And so it's frustrating when I'm sitting with somebody and they're trying to fix me, they're trying to solve the problem rather than just sit with me. And that's what empathy is. Empathy is being able to see from the other person's perspective. And narcissism is the opposite of empathy. Narcissism says, it's about me. I make it about me. It is all about me. But empathy says, no, it's really about you. And I'm willing to sit with you. I don't even know how to begin to fix your problem, but I'll sit with you.
You know what I love about empathy that I have seen true in our relationship and people that we work with, empathy creates the sticky stuff. It's the sticky stuff that makes my relationship with you really safe and powerful, because I know you get me in my most vulnerable places. And every time you've empathized with me, it sticks me closer to you. So I know we're out of time. I want to encourage everybody, go to the website, hardinlife.com, read Phil's blog, and really work on some great eye contact this week, and think about how you could help see from their perspective where they are and give them some sticky stuff with some empathy. We want you to have a good week.
Thanks for tuning in. See you next